Welcome to the fifth episode in the Resilient School Screencast series. In 1956, psychologist George Miller observed that human span of distinction in any particular perceptual input, as well as our span of immediate memory, seems to be about 7 plus or minus 2. So phone numbers were 7 digits because that was the average length of unrelated digits an average person could hold in immediate recall. It's no coincidence that there are 7 notes in a scale, 7 colors in a rainbow, 7 days in a week, 7 class periods, and 7 directions relative to us: up, down, forward, backward, left, right, and within. And that a number of other areas in perception and memory sort of naturally fall into spans of about 7. This is not a hard and fast law, as later research elaborated exceptions and nuances, but it does make a useful rule of thumb to remind us that we do have limits when taking in, remembering, storing, and making sense of information. We do have limits in how many issues or worries can cycle through our attention, no matter how much we care. In school, amid the ongoing pandemic, teachers try to pay attention to safety protocols, curriculum standards, assessing and filling in learning gaps, keeping track of student health attendance and quarantine status, attuned to student social and emotional needs. And then there are the myriad other information streams, collaterals, administrative and tech to-dos, and, wait for it, the rest of life. And all of our school staff in their various roles have similar attention demands now. Thinking back to Miller's Magic 7, it may be useful to hypothesize that we only have about 7 channels of attention that we can switch between. Right now, several of those channels are already spoken for, leaving us a little bottlenecked on cognitive processing and mental energy. The same thing is happening with our students. Interacting at school or any public space pretty much demands one channel of attention, even if we aren't tuned into that channel every moment. We've developed routines, but even so, interacting with masks, distancing, cleaning, and all of the various aspects that require our cycling awareness fill up a whole channel. When a person is sick or has a friend or loved one sick, that demands a full channel of attention. Making sense of the change, loss, and grief of the past couple of years fills at least another channel. Even if we engage in any number of strategies to avoid giving this attention, it still waits there, clogging a channel for the foreseeable future and for months to years after we find some kind of post-pandemic normal and work it through. Our students, given the time in their life and development, likely have one channel tuned at all times to the social world of relationships and identity. So I would not be surprised if students at school have but 3 viable channels to share attention to: coursework, clubs, jobs, sports, and activities, when the other channels, particularly with the ever-present cell phone reminders, also compete for their awareness and focus a lot of the time. Perhaps this is stating the obvious to those of you with longer experience or keener insight, but it only dawned on me more recently. It has helped to give myself a bit of slack and be more conscious about using limited mental energy and attention thoughtfully. So if there are limited available channels of attention for students, then here are a few of my takeaways. Streamline and simplify the information and communication streams going to students. Reduce some of the conscious attention load with automatic routines. Help students identify their own attention and processing rhythms to find efficiencies to better use their available time and energy. Consider what is actually important rather than merely urgent. Recognize that sometimes we do need to pay attention to pandemic life channels and incorporate these topics at school, or they will interrupt and interfere with other learning. Be patient with students and self. We are all juggling full plates with attention limits. Let me know your takeaways and strategies so that I'll be able to share those. Until next time, I wish you days full of hope and possibility.